Hello everyone, I'm Madhuri Shrestha. I work as an associate engineering manager at CloudFactory. I've been in the tech industry for 6+ years now, and I'm also a member of Lean in Agile, LIA, an organization working with the model of offer and seek, helping women in the agile ecosystem through project management and all the software engineering techniques to collaborate together and offer and seek the skills they already have. So let me share my screen. So as the theme of our today's webinar is resilient tech leadership, I'm also going to talk about the same. So now I'm going to talk about leading during the testing times. These are the testing times, and I'm sharing some of the experiences and some of the measures that I've been trying and I've been learning during this and exploring during this. Following is my LinkedIn handle, and we can connect there if you want to. So we have been talking about resilience this whole evening, right? So when we are talking about resilience, let's go back to the basics. So Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines resilience as an ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. So the core value or the core meaning of resilience is to be able to evolve from what has pulled us back or pulled us down, and do that in a manner or in a fashion that it's quick, it's adjustable, and then move forward to it. So if we think more about what resilience would be in tech leadership or in any kind of leadership, Driven has this 6 domains of resilience, which is the core through which we build the resilience system, the resilience leadership. So vision, the purpose and goals that drive us forward, the composure of being able to manage our emotions, control our biases, and have the patience and calmness to move forward and act in unexpected scenarios. Reasoning being the reasonable voice, the ability of problem solving and being resourceful and to be able to strategize and plan. Health, which is very key, because unless we are having enough nutrition, sleep, and exercises, we cannot function at our full potential and be the person or be the capacity we are trying to be. Tenacity, being able to persistently pursue and have a realistic optimism about the things we go about, that helps us to look forward to the things that we are working on and then adapt, evolve, and change accordingly as per the situation. And then collaboration, which is the key, because through our support networks, through our social collaborations, through our social groups and everything, we are actually able to be resilient, because that is what powers us when we go through the journey of failing or missing out on what we are trying to do, but still getting up and working on it to pursue our goal and vision. So resilience is something that has been here for a long time, and resilience is a key part of growing to be a leader, growing to lead in any kind of role, any kind of position that you are working on, whether you are a team lead in a tech company, a project lead, a manager, a department head, or in any way mentoring a new engineer in the team, mentoring someone who is new to the team and has come on only. But with all the changes that has been going on, with the recent 1 year that we have spent during the times of pandemics, things have become a lot more complicated, right? Because we knew there can be uncertainties, and there are going to be uncertainties in the future as well. So we can somehow strategize and plan for the possible blips and possible blockades. But the sheer scale of this pandemic, the sheer scale of what is going on in the world is something that we probably weren't prepared for are still working through it, and it's still ongoing. So the sheer scale of global impact, the global effect that this has created, has actually led a lot of people in different positions, in different walks of life, to rethink what they have been doing. And more and so, resilience is something that we need in leadership, and we need to focus on it. So during this testing times, how we can actually reinforce the resilience that we have, and how we can embody it in the leadership in tech and in other industries that we have been working on. So the first one would be empathy. Now more than ever, things are hard, right? Times are really hard, and not everybody will be able to cope with it. For people who were thinking that they would thrive in this environment, they are really prepared. And for people who thought that they may not, might not be the same. So somebody who was expecting to thrive during this situation may like could possibly be struggling, and some who did not think they would thrive are doing okay. So it's all about working on it. And just because someone is doing okay does not mean that everyone else is, or when someone is not doing okay doesn't mean that everyone else is in the same situation. We need to be members with the people we work with, and understand that not everybody is going through the same walk of life, not everybody will have the same response through the situation. So having that empathy to understand the different perception and different situations that people may be on, and then try and work through to create the support that they need. Because as a leader, at any space, it is our responsibility, our accountability, that we identify the areas that can actually be affected because of what is going on right now and what has been going on for the past 1 year. And we need to work on providing support are actually struggling, and how we can create a system or create a mechanism to help uplift them, help them walk through it, and then adapt better to their own potential as well. So have the option to either do or rather not do things. A lot is going on, and not everybody can cope. Giving people the flexibility to choose to do something or choose to not do something, rather than us trying to reinforce them to do something, even if for their best. So for example, I see someone struggling, very important that we provide people options to choose from when they are going through these things, rather than us trying to reinforce a path for them or trying to push something that we might think is best for them. So for example, if I see one of my colleagues is struggling, or someone I know is struggling, rather than me telling them to take a leave and go on and take a leave, we should create an environment where that person would feel secure enough and confident enough to go on a leave if that is what they want to do. We cannot push people to different decisions because we don't know, like what the work could be the only thing that is actually helping them cope during that time. And for us to be able to create that safe space for people to either choose to go on a time off, or not to choose not to go on a time off even when others are doing, is by modeling the behavior you would encourage. So if you are someone who is actually doing what they are preaching, walking the talk, right? So if you are able to model the behavior that you would encourage your team, your colleagues and members to embody, then that is can also be a way for people to feel comfortable about the options that are there, and feel comfortable to reach out and try them out as well. And the next would be to fail fast, right? So resilience is all about bouncing back from the problems and adapting to the situations so that they can move forward from the fallbacks, right? So the faster we fail, the better it would be for us to adapt and realize what did not work and what is not working. So let's not always get stuck on one idea or one way of doing a thing. If there are some problems and if we are thinking of getting it resolved, if first thing doesn't work, um, we don't always have to just stick to one solution. We can try different things as well, and based on the analysis and root cause analysis of what didn't work, what went wrong, what were actually good, and what we can take forward in our journey. uh, Through those lessons we can adapt and then come up with a new way or new strategy of how we can do that better. So, and this is the time when we as a person, as a colleague, as leaders need to focus on foremost for everybody around us, because not everybody is living the same experience through these difficult times. If I'm doing good doesn't mean that my colleague by my side would be doing good as well. So be much more kinder and empathetic and provide the opportunities and support system for them to overcome this situation and work towards the path of resilience. So next would be comprehensive communication. So Mansi ji, Amber, and everybody else also talked about communication, right? So communication is something that we always talk about as something important, but now with everything and most of the things going remote or in the hybrid model, comprehensive communication is much more important, because we have a lot less mental space and energy than the times that we used to have before a year back. A lot of things are going on at the same time. We are actually working through the pandemic, we are living through it, and the way everything has changed, the approach of our work, everything happening in the global scale. This is a very fast paced change, right? So we really do have less mental space and energy during this time, and trying to make our communications such that it is quite easy to understand, it's very comprehensive and wouldn't occupy much of our energy is very essential for us to be able to thrive in this situation, because Zoom fatigue is real, right? When the pandemic started, our first instinct was to like always try to get and stay and connected for the social aspect, for the relationship aspect. But what we didn't realize at first was that Zoom fatigue is something that could have happened, us having less mental space and energy, feeling drained out after a day of connecting, and everything is real. And we have learned this in this journey, and this is something we need to apply as well. So trying to encourage asynchronous communication wherever applicable or wherever suitable is very important. Not everything requires a response from your peers or your reportees or your team members, right? So it is very important that we can establish and encourage that asynchronous communication is possible. And as Amber explained in her presentation as well, choosing the right means of communication during this time is essential as well. So trying to understand what would be the proper way medium of communicating something, because if I have to convey something to a single person or a group person, the group or the single person may not always have to reply back to me. So using acronyms or phrases to indicate the type of engagement I'm expecting from them would also help them. So if I post a message in some group or an email where I add the acronym FYI, or the phrase no need to reply, or no need to reply, that would actually liberate the people receiving the message from having to engage and think of a reply to post it, having to think if do I need to respond to that, or do I need to engage in that. So that will actually alleviate a lot of burden from the people who are constantly feeling really fatigued to the communication that has increased, and the communication that we are doing in this setup of working in the pandemic through the hybrid and remote model. So understanding when an email is enough, when like no response needed message is enough, and when a one-on-one or heart-to-heart conversation is required is very essential, and encouraging the use of such means of communication and trying to filter out everything that doesn't need actual engagement or interaction, that is also very necessary. And what this does, it also creates a environment where people can actually come forward and communicate in time about their accountability and ownership management. So whenever if there is something that can actually impact the deliverables of the team, or things might not work out because of some issues going on, this encourages people to actually come forward and creates a safe space for them to actually communicate that possibility in time, so that we as a team, we as people can actually work around it and plan better for what might happen, even if we are able to either deliver or do not able to deliver it. So next would be vision and impact. So it is very necessary that we understand what vision we are actually working towards, because in this time of instability and a lot of changes going on, vision is can be something stable in their lives, stable, something that we are working towards, that gives a sense of security, as well as provides a motive for one to push forward with resilience. And this is also the right time to actually understand and strategize to support the identified areas that can be affected due to the changes that is going on. So our vision must be aligned on supporting the issues that we have identified in the business or in the teams that can be impacted because of all the changes going on. And it is very necessary that we understand and try to align through it and bring everybody closer, and then on the same page about what we are working for and what we need, what we are actually trying to do with everything we are doing. And similarly, just working and working and working, or so just delivering might not be enough, because actually being able to measure the positive impact that you create with the work that you are doing actually helps boost the motivation, and that can be something that can help people to maintain a good emotional health and the motivation level to actually take accountability and ownership for the work they are doing and move forward and try to do better. So vision and impact measurement are actually very important during these trying times to keep people motivated and focused on the values and the work that they are trying to create. And something that we don't often talk about would be appropriate boundaries. So just because you are a leader or just because you are in a team doesn't mean that there cannot be any boundaries. So as a person working, as a person in a team, as a person who is leading, or as a person who has just started out a team, it is very necessary for you to self-reflect and understand what you can and cannot do, because not everything is your expertise, not everything is that you can work on with. So recognizing the areas where which are not your domain or expertise is very necessary, because if your team members are struggling in those areas, or if your reports are struggling in these areas, then if you do realize what are not your expertise, you can actually nudge the conversations toward the right direction for support. Because if someone is struggling and you don't have the right expertise to actually help them overcome, and but still you try and go through the difficult conversation with them to try and support, because that is what you are there for, right? To support them and to be accountable for them. That would mean that you're actually draining yourself of the limited energy and effort that you have, and also not helping the person that is actually needing the help. So if you are actually aware that that is not your expertise, and are able to conversation in a direction and then put forward to them with the conversation like, okay, I understand this is the situation you are going through, so how does this affect you in your work, and how can I create a space for you or support you so that you can work much better. So for example, if somebody is having some problems in their family, where some of their family members are struggling with health issues, and that is actually something that they are the team member is struggling with, then one way would be me talking to them or trying to guide through them would not be helpful, right? Because that is not my expertise. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a health professional. But me asking them, okay, how can I support you in this situation in the work environment, so that if you are at work, how you would work better. So I can provide the options of working flexible hours for them, or providing them some giving them the space enough to take the required time off they need to take care of their members, and then return back as someone with a much better capacity and much better mental health and physical health as well. So having that understanding of what you can and cannot do, redirecting the conversation in the situations where the conversations can be straining for you and not the right conversations for you to be having is very important. And this goes not just for the leaders but for everyone involved in the team, because with empathy we also have to understand that we cannot do everything. So even though we empathize, we do have to identify the areas on understanding what we are able to do and what we are actually not able to do, because that is not something that is our expertise. Because that would only help to ensure that your well-being, whether it's mental or physical, is uh, safe and is not depleted. Because in the situation where everybody is depleting, including your leaders, your managers, your team members, and your colleagues, actually being sensible about where you invest your energy, your resources, and understanding your limits and actually admitting to them would actually help you to stay away from burnout and avoid the problems where you are actually at the point of not being able to cope or not resilient enough. So if you do understand that um, you cannot help others if you yourself are exhausted or depleted, then you would be able to work toward building a resilience leadership for yourself and for your team members as well. So together we can. Thank you.